The throwback. It's one of the most famous tricks in the entire sport of free skating, and as a free skater, it's understandable that you would want to be able to land one yourself, maybe to show it to your friends, or in general, just feel what it feels like to land a throwback consistently, and trust me, it feels amazing. Unfortunately, this is easier said than done. I spent the first 3 years of my progress not being able to land this trick basically at all, and then I found out I was making some very important mistakes that I'm going to bring to you in today's video. Make sure to pay attention to all of these mistakes, as all of them in order are crucial to landing a successful throwback and getting them consistent. So the first mistake is not rotating your shoulders. This is actually the step that makes or breaks the rest of the trick. Rotating your shoulders should give you all the momentum you need to get that front skate to do a full 180. Secondly, rotating your shoulders gives you a visual of your back skate, so that you know exactly where to put your foot when you come back around on the other side. Because you can actually see the skate, it doesn't matter if you throw your skate soft, if you throw it a little harder, no matter where it lands, from the beginning of the trick, if you see your skate before you let it go, you know exactly where to put your foot down when you come back around. A good way to practice this is starting with only your front skate, and then winding up your shoulders and swinging around to land on your back skate in the switch position. When you're doing this, it's important to lead with your shoulders, look at your skate, and then you're free to lift up your back foot to step onto that back skate. The next mistake is a common one for beginners. Your back skate keeps hitting your front leg. The solution to this is simple. You want to position the back skate far enough back so that it misses your front leg and goes around you. So how do you practice this? I would recommend only using the back skate, and then just experiment with where you're placing it so that you can throw it and miss your front leg. When you're doing this though, remember to start with that rotation of the shoulders to get used to how this feels. Place the skate behind you, start with rotating your shoulders, look at the skate, and then you're free to throw it. So you've successfully thrown the skate, but did it come back to you? Chances are that maybe it didn't. The way to make sure that it does come back to you is by pointing your toe all the way down. And when I say this, I mean like basically dragging your toe on the ground throughout the duration of the throw until you pick up your foot. If you don't keep your toe pointed the entire time, you risk a couple things happening. One of them is the skate will just drift away from you in the opposite direction. And then also, instead of pointing it all the way, if you leave any space for the skate to drop and hit the ground, it could bounce back and forth, and then the skate will just lose control. This is especially true if you have premium edge guards, the really thick bouncy ones. Right here I have the newest model of edge guards that is more forgiving for throws, generally has a much higher success rate, and then if you're using no edge guards at all, that's probably best case scenario. So the next mistake is probably one of the most important realizations for me, and that is, even though this is called a throwback, you should not be throwing or flicking the skate. And I'm going to tell you why. So there's 3 things that throwing the skate could do to screw this up. One of them is it could make the skate bounce. So like I was saying earlier, if you leave any room right here for the skate to bounce, and then you throw it aggressively, it's just gonna make that bounce a whole lot more aggressive, and it's not gonna go well for you. Secondly, if you throw the skate too hard, the skate will travel too far too fast, and you'll just be running after your skate. And then third, thinking of this as a throw often confuses people as far as what direction to throw the skate into. So if you take it literally and throw the skate back behind you, that's what's gonna send the skate in the opposite direction, and that's not what you want. If you do think of this as a throw, you need to only think of it as a throw in the direction of the wheels, so that you're not throwing it back in the other direction, but along with the wheels, so that it maintains its arc. If you think about it, the skate already has speed, it's traveling along with you even before you let it go. So instead of thinking of this as a throw, here is what I would recommend. As you do that first step of rotating your shoulders, slowly bring your back skate forward at the same time in one motion. So as you rotate your shoulders, your back skate comes forward, and then just lift your foot. Think of it as a release, not so much as a throw. As soon as you see your skate and your skate is positioned behind you, just pick up your foot. That skate is gonna have all the momentum it needs to travel around you, so all you need to do is place your foot back down. Another cool way to practice this is by matching the throwback with your pump. If you think about it, there's a perfect time in the free skating pump to do a throwback. So I'm pumping, then I'm getting ready to throw. Even with all these tips, it's going to be hard for you to land your throwbacks if you're not focusing on the next mistake, which is weight distribution. So obviously you start with your weight centered in your normal position, and then as you rotate your shoulders and slowly bring the skate forward, your weight should become centered like this. And this is where you ideally let go of the skate. And then as you release the skate, your center of mass should follow as you end up in the switch position. I would say probably the most common weight distribution mistake with this trick is ending up with your weight falling too far back when you're trying to land your throwbacks. One way to fix this is by looking down at your front skate and making sure your center of mass is above it at all times. Secondly, if your weight is falling too far back at the end, I like to think of that as maybe you didn't do a full 180, but more like a 150 or 160 degree turn. So make sure you use your shoulders to do that full 180 degree turn so that your weight ends up centered and not falling too far back. So to recap so far, here are the steps for success. Start with rotating your shoulders while slowly bringing that pointed back skate forward. And then don't let go of that skate until you actually physically see it. And then once you do see it, don't throw it. Just simply let go. It should have all the momentum it needs to continue its arc around you. And all you need to do at that point is set your foot back down as long as you rotated your shoulders enough. The next mistake is not knowing how to ride switch, because now you're in the switch position. So definitely make sure you watch this video on how to ride switch. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching and roll with us.